All right, this is the now retired Dan Henley. He went out a winner. So is that 449 wins career? Because it was 448, I think.
It's actually, I had to count it a few years ago because I was up for some award. I had to go backtrack, so it's actually 481.
481 today.
Yes.
Okay. I got here late, but I heard there was a really cool ceremony. Matt Gonzalez's dad said you handled it really well. I said, was he emotional? I saw your wife. How surreal has today been?
Super surreal. I had no idea. I really never thought in a million years that something like this would happen, in the last game of your coaching career, where, you really feel the love of a lot of people in the community and from my past. So totally unexpected, humbled for sure, in the moment. Again, it was a special day.
In your late 50s, 57?
58.
The fact that you and your wife are retiring at such a relatively young age in life, how is that pretty exciting for you guys to have that the next 3 decades together?
Well, we've known each other forever,
Mm-hmm.
and she's a selfless person. She's really been very patient throughout my career as a baseball player and then as a coach for 30 years, and raising a family. So a lot of that has fallen on her, and so we've put off a lot of things in pursuit of taking care of her family, and obviously as a coach, you're away from the house a lot. So we're looking forward to doing some things that we haven't done for quite some time.
Well, what I'm saying is it's cool you didn't have to wait till your 70s.
Right, yeah. I love the game of baseball. There's no doubt about that. And there's, when you're done playing the game, it's like, okay, it's time to move on. And then, that gap is filled. There's plenty of other baseball players. And then from the standpoint of coaching, somebody's going to come in here and they're going to do a great job, and they're going to fill the gap and exceed in some areas for sure. It's a new opportunity, and I'm excited to see what happens here. It's a great school and had great leadership. So I'm really pleased to see what I think is going to happen.
What was really cool for me is seeing my guy, Clint Harwick, who was here for 35 years, I believe, and then you for 20. How many years was it here?
22 here.
And it's just like, that's the really cool thing about this school and this program is people don't just come and, rent it for 3 years. It's a career.
Yeah, it's a huge commitment, and that's what I felt when I first came here. It's something that I was passionate about, teaching and coaching. And as far as the longevity piece, I think that it does take time to establish culture, continue culture, build culture, whatever you want to call it. So the decision that I did make was a difficult one, but definitely it was one that I had to take a measure of my heart and put it aside and get to a more intellectual place.
When did you make this decision and why? I mean, I don't want to pry too much, but...
Decision was made a few months ago as I was weighing the option of school buyout.
Okay.
So there was an incentive program that was offered to a certain group of people.
Yeah.
And that was something that, given the thought that maybe I had another year of teaching and coaching, that I had to really seriously think about that. So.
What are you most proud of with this, not just this team, but the last 2 decades?
I'm proud of all the kids that I've come in contact with that have been patient, hardworking, gritty, tolerant of me, if you will. Coaches, we're huge front runners. We try not to be, but it's a game of failure, and just trying to get kids to understand that. Given all the things that they're going through, I've loved every minute of it from beginning to end. And again, that goes for championship seasons to seasons where maybe you underachieve, or you think that maybe it could have been better. So I'm proud of the guys this year. This was a challenging year, I think.
In so many different ways.
In so many different ways. And these guys never lost their enthusiasm, and we certainly had some bad bounces, some tough breaks, and
some bats that went hollow.
Yeah, and so that's baseball.
Yeah.
And so we talk about that. Baseball's a metaphor for life, and this is your window. So let's learn something of it and apply it to your life, because we're not all going to be baseball players. We're not going to
make a living that way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So these guys were great from that standpoint.
I think what I'm most proud about with you is, as a Glendora alum, is there was a time early on in your tenure where you were a target, where people tried to get rid of you, and you stuck it out. And not only did you stick it out, you won a title and you kept the program going up. And I'm just wondering, was that perseverance just in you the whole time, or did you just feel, I have the backing of my kids, the parents, and the administration?
Yeah, I think every year is a new beginning.
Okay.
And again, you get a new group that comes in, and again, the culture, hopefully it doesn't shift too much from the standpoint of the positive culture. No, I never was deterred in any kind of down year, or what people are saying, because again, you can't make everybody happy.
No.
I certainly know that in retirement there's a group of people that I love and respect, and my family, most of my former players. It just was a glorious thing to be able to coach them. And again, the lessons sometimes, I know as a player, the lessons continue. They sometimes are revealed down the line.
Well, but going back to what you said, that it's part of life, I was proud of the fact that when the social media boom took off and people had the easy way to bash people, like they do in every sport, every school, people stuck by you, and not only did you prove them right, you exceeded what people thought was possible. And is that just you? Are you?
My family. I come from a baseball family,
Okay.
So baseball is in my background. My dad played in the big leagues. He was 13 years in pro ball. He coached, he scouted. So I learned a lot of that, from my upbringing. And I tell everybody, I'm a park kid. I grew up at the park.
Yeah.
So when you grow up at the park, you learn the ways of the world a little bit quicker. So I've always been determined in that sense. I think I'm a decent fellow, a nice person, and I like people to be happy. But from the standpoint of your business and what you're doing out on the baseball field, there's a certain way to do it. And I believe in the way I was taught by my mentors, my father being one of them, and all the coaches that I came in contact with in my collegiate career. Rod Dato was a mentor for me. I was his last captain at USC, and just around a lot of good baseball people.
Yeah.
And baseball is a tough game.
Out of the three main sports, it's the hardest one to be a star in, because in a football game, you can hand the ball to someone or throw it to them. In a basketball game, you can get them the ball. You can't guarantee that somebody's going to pitch to you. You can't. There's so many things that are unknown. Two last things really quickly. What do you want to say to the last 22 years of kids and their parents? You're talking to them right now.
I'm thankful. Thank you for trusting in me, believing in our program. The coaching staff, that's the other piece. Our coaching staff has been real stable over the years. And again, that consistency, I think, wears itself well on a baseball field.
Is this your son, by the way, behind you? In the red, or no?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that Ryan, or? Okay.
That's my eldest.
Last thing to your son, but especially to your wife. What do you want to say?
Thank you, and I love you.
Okay.